Hey guys, it's Amy. Today's December 15th, and I wanted to sit down and do a video on Leave the World Behind because it is like the trending thing right now that's happening. But guys, there's some hidden 201's in this. There is so much connections to slavery as well as Matthew Perry's sacrifice when it comes to friends. So if you haven't seen this movie yet, guys, it's an apocalyptic movie, right? So they're pretty much at the end times, the power grid's going down. These are all things that we have seen over the last few years coming into fruition, right? Because the things that they're doing show us the direction that they're trying to take us. And this movie was produced by Obama, which was our first black president. He won the 56th presidential election. And now we have this huge movie with all this slavery symbolism in it that most people will never see. So we're going to go through what I've found so far in the movie, and I've seen it twice now. I'm going to go back and watch it again just to see, if I can pick up anything else. But Julia Roberts is a character in this movie who used to date Matthew Perry. So I do want you to keep that in mind because we're going to talk about that here in just a second. So as I was saying, Obama made this movie and he won the 56th presidential election. The reason that's important is because when you write out power outage, if you write out the apocalypse, you're going to get 56 in the reduction cipher. This was also a huge number with the thing that we're not allowed to talk about, the Conus virus. It's toilet paper's 56, mind control's 56. Like there was so much 56 with that ritual that they done on us that they called COVID, right? So it's not a surprise that when you see the power outage, the apocalypse, that the man who won the 56th presidential election would be the one to produce this movie. Because when you understand numbers and symbolism, then you can see what they're really doing and the crap that they put right in front of your face. And I'm going to show you how in this. So there's two different release dates for this film. They released it to select theaters on November 22nd, and then it released on Netflix on December 8th. We're going to talk about both dates. So when I'm bouncing from dates, I want you to know that's the two dates I'm referencing is the release in theaters, the release to Netflix. Both are important. So Barack Obama was born on August 4th. And if you'll notice in the movie, they take exit 76 to go to Point Comfort. If you write out Barack Obama at 76, if you write out Skull and Bones at 76, at the very first scene of the movie when they wake up, he's actually got a coffee cup sitting on the table there that has the 76 on it. I haven't got a picture of that, but I will be adding it onto my blog post. So we've got Barack Obama 76, Skull and Bones 76. We got this family taking exit 76 to go to Point Comfort. Now, if you'll notice, Barack Obama was also born on the day leaving 149 days left in the year. Skull and Bones is 149, and then 76 when you reverse reduce it. Death to America is actually 1, 2, 3, and 84. 84 just like Obama's birthday. This movie centers around electromagnetic pulse, microwave energy, blackouts, power grids, anything possible that you can think that would trigger an apocalypse. That's what this movie has in it. And the November release came 110 days from Obama's birthday. 110 was a number that was seen a lot with the World Trade Center. So if you write out president, you get 110. Just like if you write out electromagnetic pulse, you get 110. And 223 like the year we're in. Now, the December 8th release comes 127 days from his birthday, like the buildings that fell 1, 2, and 7 on 9/11. There was 3 buildings that fell that day. It was 1, 2, and 7. And now here we are 127 days from Obama's birthday when this release comes out on December 8th. It's also what they called Ground Zero. And that's why Building 1, Building 2, and Building 7 fell and then become Ground Zero. And that's why you're seeing this apocalyptic movie coming out 127 days from Obama's birthday. Now, this movie is also centered around Friends. The little girl in the movie, she's just trying to watch the final episode of Friends, and the world just going to hell all around her, right? Well, get this. The Friends last episode was on 56, the 127th day of the year. So look right here. May 6th is when the final episode was, which is the 127th day of the year. And remember how we said Obama won the 56th presidential election, and you got the power outage and the apocalypse is 56. Now we've got Friends' very last episode, which is the one the little girl was trying to get to, right? She wanted to see the last episode. That last episode aired on the 127th day of the year, which goes right along with that ground zero. Now, the very interesting part is these 201's. And I haven't seen anybody else in the community pick up on these 201's last night. And I just happened to run across it because I was trying to get pictures. And when I stopped it, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So at the beginning of the movie, when they finally, the owners finally come in the house, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, this is Julia Roberts. As soon as they walk in the house and they're discussing, the blackout, they didn't have anywhere to go, so they came here. This painting is in the background. All it is the eye. The Illuminati eye. You're not going to guess, guys, when this shows up. It shows up when there is 201 minutes left in the movie. There's the eye. See? And I just happened to see it because I was trying to catch a screenshot of this, and I was like, oh my God. They waited till there's 201 minutes left in the movie to show you, for her to walk in the house and go up underneath that eye. And this is the symbolism we're talking about. See, there's the eyes. They're talking. 201:15. That's when it shows up, that painting. It's when they first walk in the house. 201 is a number that we talk about all the time because the day that you get your new president is 20/1. So we got Barack Obama on 20/1. Order of Illuminati is 201. Number of a man is 201. All of these numbers. This is your Pope right here, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 201. You got weather control, 201, 666, which is supposed to be the number of the beast, 201. Holy Bible's 201. There's just Disney World, it's all, 201 is a huge number to these assholes. Well, get this, y'all. The last episode of Friends aired on May 6th. I don't know why I have 5th here. It's actually May 6th, but sorry. Typo, I'll fix that. On May 6th, 2004. So the last episode of Friends that little girl's trying to get to in this movie aired on May 6th. Guys, that was 19 years and 201 days before the release of this movie. That's how sick these bastards are. They code it all the time. So to try to deny this knowledge, you're just a freaking nutcase because it's happening. So Friends last aired on May 6, 2004. That's what she's trying to get to. She just wants to see what happens with Ross and Rachel. 19 years and 201 days before this release on Netflix, or in the theaters, on November 22nd. So when I seen the other one about the 201 minutes left in the movie, I wanted to go and see what happens at the 201 minute mark, right? So that's the crazy scene where Julia comes running up and she's trying to scare the deer. So it's like as soon as she comes running up, she's like, ah, and she starts screaming at the deer. Y'all, that's 201 minutes into the movie. Now, a lot of people notice this 96 on this girl's arm. Leave the world behind is 96. And there's the 96 right there. Now let's talk about the ship first. So here's your ship, and that's how it starts. This big old ship just goes up on the beach, and they have to run from it. And this is what ultimately starts the war, right? This ship is called White Lion. If you actually look up in history, other ships that were named White Lion, the White Lion was an English ship who first brought the first Africans to America. And now you have this White Lion getting ready to start this apocalypse. So we got the black man that was the first president making this movie, and the boat that runs ashore to start the movie happens to be the same named boat of who brought the slaves to America. Not only that, y'all, in the movie, there's only one radio station that comes in for just a few seconds. So this White Lion ship came in 1619 with the slaves. That's the only radio station that picked up in this movie to let them know that there was shit going down, was 1619. So this ship runs aboard, starting the war. White Lion brought the first slaves to America in 1619, and in this movie, 1619 is the only radio station that is able to come in for just a few seconds. These are not coincidences. These are strategic things that they have placed in this movie. Now get this. The White Lion, along with the Treasurer, right, which was another ship back in the day, those two ships captured another ship and then took that ship to go sell the slaves at Point Comfort. They first landed in Point Comfort. Well, you remember how we said that they took exit 76 to go to Point Comfort? Well, here's Julia Roberts at the grocery store, Point Comfort. So you got the White Lion boat, which was the first slave ship, who also captured another slave ship and landed at Point Comfort back in 1619, which is the only radio station that picks up in this movie. And here they are at Point Comfort grocery store, taking exit 76 for Point Comfort. And 76 is a huge number with black rituals. I'll show it to you in a second. So they actually landed in Charleston Harbor. Or not landed, that's where they were actually visiting, right? So they went to Charleston Harbor Beach. That was the official beginning of the American Civil War, was the attack on Fort Sumter, which was in Charleston Harbor. So you've got Julia Roberts and her family going to Charleston Harbor, watching this White Lion boat come across the shore. But yet you also have that same stuff, right? The radio station's coming in. This boat's running aground in 1619. The slavery symbolism in this movie is ridiculous. So when they actually, at the Civil War, when it began, the official start date of that is April 12th, which is the 102nd day of the year. Well, the N-word and slavery both equal 102. And that's another number that's associated with black history. See, here's the picture. That's where they went to the beach. That's where the ship comes up. They go to the beach. They're having a great day. They all take a nap, and then next thing you know, this ship's running aground. If you write out Charleston Harbor, you get 177. The Jesuit order is 177, 201, just like the New World Order is 177. We just talked about the 201's, the Friends episode that this little girl's trying to get to aired 19 years and 201 days before that. There's also a QR code around 34 minutes in the movie right here. So this is where it's showing all the grid down, and there's a QR code that pops up there in the movie. It actually takes you to Lake Shawnee, the abandoned amusement park. That's what it's called, Lake Shawnee Abandoned Amusement Park. If you write that out, it's 321. Just like if you write out Leave the World Behind, it's 321. To me, that's a countdown. 3, 2, 1. It's also the opposite of 1, 2, 3, like the Bible. And Death to America, which is what the flyers had on them from the drone that was dropping them all over. So there's a drone in the movie that's dropping flyers all over the place, and the flyers say Death to America. Well, Obama was born on August 4th, and now you've got this Death to America red cards being thrown everywhere. Holy Bible, 123, and then the reverse, Leave the World Behind, and the link to that abandoned amusement park right there in the movie. Now, that amusement park actually operated for 62 years. Obama is 62 years old. There's a lot with 62. I'm not going to go into it on this post. I'll do another one for that. The Huxley house where the bomb shelter was. So in the end, they're like, okay, we got to find this bomb shelter so that we can, and that's where she actually gets to see the last episode of Friends. And that's where the movie ends. The Huxley house is actually based off Adolphus or Huxley, Mr. Huxley. I'm not going to try to say his first name. He's the guy that wrote the book called Brave New World. So here we've got Leave the World Behind, and now we have Brave New World, and that's where the bomb shelter is. Symbolism. Let's talk about the Matthew Perry connection. Outside of, the fact that they aired this final episode on May 6th, 2004, and then 19 years later, in 201 days, we get this new movie coming out. Julia Roberts actually dated Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry died on Julia Roberts' birthday. We just talked about the 19 years and 201 days. So Matthew Perry died on October 28th. Julia Roberts is born October 28th. You got to make sacrifices for fortune and fame. And when Matthew Perry actually died, he died on October 28th. And if you read Matthew 10:28 in the Bible, it says, do not be afraid of those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul. And they talk about how he wanted nothing more than to be famous and how he was praying for fame. His death also came 25 days before this first movie release on November 22nd, which is a number associated with death. It's 41 days from the second release, which is when it went to Netflix. Skull and Bones is 41. Skull and Bones was behind the World Trade Center when it went down. And they're going to be behind this next disaster that they're literally sitting here telling you they're getting ready to do. Julia Roberts was in one episode of Friends, and it was called The One After the Super Bowl. So, does that mean that we're going to have another event after the Super Bowl? Probably. We don't know. But all we know is these fuckers operate with numbers, letters, symbols, and there's a whole lot of symbolic shit in this movie. So, the one that she was in Friends, right? It was on January 28th. This movie comes out 67 days before that anniversary of her being in the Friends episode, which is a number that's associated with human and blood sacrifices. Was Matthew Perry sacrificed for the fame and fortune? And yeah, absolutely. Now, if you'll notice, there's a part in the movie where these self-driving cars started clogging up all the interstates. Do you know that a few days ago, they started recalling the Teslas because there was a problem with the autopilot? So the same time this movie's getting all this conspiracy stuff going around, happens to be the same time that Tesla's actually being recalled for that same issue, the autopilot issue. They're literally just mocking us in our face every day. If you write out Elon Musk, it's 110. And it's a number associated with the trade centers, At the end of the movie, after they, those electromagnetic pulses and the high-pitched frequencies and things like that, the little boy's teeth starts falling out, which is actually a real thing that happened in Cuba. It's called the Havana syndrome, or Havana syndrome. And they associate that with the government because it happened to some military personnel in Cuba. And they linked it back to ultrasound and microwave weapons. So that's the reason that they put that in there too, because they're literally telling us what they're about to damn do. And these people are sick, man. If you can't see that Matthew Perry was sacrificed, if you can't see that it's really freaking funny that at the point in time that there's 201 minutes left in that movie, there just happens to be a freaking one-eye symbolism painting on the wall. You got all these references to 127, a number that has been spoken about when it comes to the World Trade Center disaster. Guys, these are not coincidences. These are numeric patterns. But guys, I just wanted to jump on here to kind of go through some of the things that I personally have found as far as like with this movie. I'm still going to do a little bit more checking into it, but I just wanted to really bring out those 201s because I hadn't seen anybody explaining that part of the movie yet. But guys, I love you. I'll catch you on the next one. If you're here to learn, I appreciate your support. If you're here to troll, I don't give a shit if you don't like my accent. I don't care if you don't like the color of my hair. I don't care if you think my ears are too big. I don't care. Waste your time talking about me all you want to. That's perfectly fine. As long as you're talking about me, you're leaving somebody else alone. That's what my daddy always told me. So I'm going to live by my daddy's words where, hey, Amy, if they're talking about you, at least they're leaving somebody else alone. And it don't bother you. It might bother the next one. So you can talk about me all you want to. You can make fun of my accent. I don't care. It is what it is. Most people love it. The only people that hate it are haters, and that's what you guys are. So the guys that do support, I love y'all. The trolls, go the hell on somewhere. And fuck you, Charmed One. I don't like you either. I'm not racist. I'm tired of your shit when you say that. I would love to introduce you to my biracial babies. I have 2 of them. My ex-husband was black. So please stop calling me racist, you stupid bitch. Okay? All right, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Y'all have a good day.